Good morning and welcome back to WMHS News. I'm Will.
And I'm Artemis. Hey Will, how's your week been so far?
Not bad, but it's about to get a whole lot better, because it's time for WMHS News.
There's 100 or more days of COVID protection, and BBC's here for attendance. So the present day problem for our generation is finding a good way to spend it. Like maybe charging your laptop or walking your puppy or coming up with when to shower. Discovering new work that's asynchronous or binging Netflix for more than an hour. Having rolling grades and socially distanced ways of getting educational gains. Finding a good snack and eating all of it or driving your sibling insane. As you can see, there's a whole lot of work to do before the teachers start their calls. So stick with us, cause WMHS News is gonna do it all. So stick with us, cause WMHS News is gonna do it all. Miss B, Broadcast Journalism Period 7 is making a title sequence.
Last week, the Fairfax County School Board voted to pause the current return-to-school plans. The school board and superintendent will meet on February 2nd to discuss a new timeline for return to school. Until then, changes to the bell schedule are also paused, so be sure to keep showing up for your first block classes at 8:10 a.m.
Here are some updates about next week's schedule. Monday, January 18th is Martin Luther King Day, and Wednesday, January 20th is Inauguration Day. So the school will be closed on both of those days, and there will be no classes. Tuesday and Thursday, January 19th and 20th, will be regular synchronous red days. Friday, January 22nd, is the last day of the quarter, so we will have a 2-hour early release. 8th period will end at 12:25 p.m.
The National Art Honor Society just launched its second art show. The theme for this show is Fire and Ice. Check out the link to the Student Art Project website below to access the display of incredible work by our McLean artists. Follow them on social media to keep up with what's going on in the visual arts department at McLean.
The new episode of the Highlander podcast is out. You can find it at thehighlandernews.com or look for it on SoundCloud or the Apple Podcasts app. Now to Colvin with sports.
It's Cole with the sports. For the school sports.
Tomorrow, girls freshman basketball plays Justice High School away, and girls varsity gymnastics goes up against Washington Liberty, South Lakes, and Mount Vernon at home. Friday, girls JV basketball plays Herndon away. Boys varsity basketball plays Herndon at home, and girls varsity basketball plays Herndon away. Saturday, girls varsity gymnastics goes up against Hayfield, Westfield, and Centerville at home.
For the national sports, Lamar Jackson finally got a playoff win as they beat the Titans 2013. The Bears did nothing on offense as usual, and they lost to the Saints 21-9. And the Steelers, sorry overrated behinds, got bounced in the first round, and they gave up 47 points to the Browns, and they lost 47-36. It's been a great week. That's all for the sports. Now back to the anchors.
Thanks, Colvin. The new Japanese Cultural Club is holding meetings during the second half of Highlander time every Wednesday starting today. Join in to learn about the language and culture or just to chill. Join their Google Classroom for more information. Now to Rebecca with World News.
I'm Rebecca Miles with your news for the week. Last Wednesday, rioting Trump supporters stormed the Capitol building, falsely claiming that election results were fraudulent. The building was left vandalized with broken windows and multiple items stolen, including top-secret flash drives. Due to Trump's support of the riots, he's now blocked from using both Twitter and Facebook, and faces the possibility of a second impeachment. Joe Biden's inauguration will be held on the 20th of this month. In other news, more coronavirus vaccines are being delivered around the country, slowly but surely. Have a great week, Highlanders, and stay safe.
Thanks, Rebecca. For the last week of the quarter, Leadership is holding a Stress Less Week. Follow at McLean Leadership to find out more and start feeling your stress melt away.
The pandemic isn't stopping Big Macs from helping newer students. Check out this video to find out how they're doing.
Sponsor of the Big Mac program, Greg Olcott, has been working with the program's senior executives to overcome the challenges presented by this virtual setting.
The transition is tough to go from middle school to high school. Then you add all the other things that McLean has going on with the competition, the stress and anxiety that comes with trying to achieve at such a high level.
I came from a small, private academy before McLean, and it was definitely a big jump. I went from 30 kids to about 500 or so. It was definitely intimidating, but having that mentor was really, really great. It was someone I could talk to. So I knew that when it came time that I was the age, I definitely wanted to join and be able to reciprocate that and help someone else.
Especially the jump from 8th grade to 9th grade is really big. So starting off as a freshman, we probably need some assistance with that. And I feel like you can get good help with like study skills, stuff like that, friendships for people who have experience.
The Big Macs, through the application process, they sort of exemplify the positive attributes of what it means to be a Highlander. And that's what we look for when we're trying to identify who we want acting as a mentor for our new students.
We've mainly, in our last few meetings, there's always like 1 or 2 new kids, so we send them into breakout rooms with their Big Macs, and they immediately swap numbers. So getting the phone numbers between Big Macs and freshmen is huge. That way the Big Mac can text them, check in on them, tell them when the meetings are. So our biggest strategy has been just communication.
But one of the positives that's going to come out of this, there are many new ways of doing things that teachers are using, that counselors are using, that administrators are using, that we never used prior to this. But they're so effective and they're so efficient and they're so well received from students that we're going to continue doing that moving forward.
The virtual setting is difficult. So we've been having a lot of issues with attendance. We're not having as many freshmen show up as we'd like. We have a little bit under 50%, I think. So we definitely want more people to show up.
But leadership is such and has been such an important piece of McLean in terms of welcoming the freshmen in and the new students in. So we want to try and continue that because it's a tradition. It's part of McLean's culture.
Always be reassured that you can email your Mr. Olcott, Mr. Roland, or you can text your exec, text your Big Macs. There's always people to help you.
Signing off for WMHS News, this is Brendan Lindsay and Lexi Ortiz.
Oh, you mean that kind of Big Mac. And I was getting hungry for a second. Now to Nico with this week's weather.
Hey McLean, I'm Nico with the weather for this week. Today's looking sunny with the high of 52 and a low of 30. Tomorrow and Friday are partly cloudy with highs in the low 50s and lows in the mid 30s. It's going to be a bit chillier this weekend with highs in the mid 40s and lows getting down to the high 20s. At the start of next week, the temperature is looking just a bit warmer than the weekend with highs in the mid 40s and lows in the 30s. That's all for the weather for this week. Now back to your anchors.
Thanks, Nico. If you'd like to submit an announcement, use the form in the description of this video. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow our Instagram for McLean updates and fun activities. Have a great week, McLean.
Have a great week, McLean.